So Tom Meyer, Superintendent, the Bellevue Community School District in Bellevue, Iowa, coming to you with this week's Believe in the Blue update. I'm going to go over the board meeting from last evening along with some other information. Some board highlights from last night, comment highlights. I'll have these posted online later on today. But we had the Jackson County Prevention Coalition come last night, talk about alcohol and other drug or substance abuse. That way, and how they will be doing a program for our sixth graders, seventh graders, and eighth graders over the next 3 years. Actually, we'll start off with sixth graders next year with a Northland project. That way, it's about alcohol prevention. We also had a comic curriculum presentation last night. That was more about the Iowa Big or the Bellevue Big. I also put the link to that video online. It's a YouTube video on Iowa Big. But the whole point is here, the program like that that meets standards in different curricular areas through doing one real life project. It helps kids be excited about their learning, engaged in their learning, feel like I'm actually getting something done with my learning, and they become independent learners in many ways, studying what they want to study, studying something that's going to help the community, going to help the area, whatever the case is. And the point here is by doing this, we can maybe get a socialist credit and English credit, maybe a math credit, all at the same time within the same project. It's a cross-curricular type approach that way. The board also approved a potential trip for our Spanish club to Costa Rica. Miss Dullard, Amber Dullard, will be coordinating that as a Spanish teacher, and we'll be looking at that in the next few weeks again to see what's going on. She's mentioned it to her students this week, so you'll have some information about that. That would be in the summer of 2017. We also talked about a potential of a school counselor at the Bellevue Elementary School for next school year. The board okayed to look at possibly pursuing that and looking at different people in the area interested in that. So we will be moving forward with that way through a couple of different ways. So something different for our school district to have a school counselor within the building, at least for half of the days of the week, or a half-time counselor that way. Right now we just have one here 1.5 days a week, so that'd be an increase. What I would look at with that would be some classroom guidance talking about character, anti-bullying, just the general traits that we want our students to exhibit outside of school, in school, and I guess basically everywhere that they are. Let's talk about Affordable Care Act information. The board made a decision to offer insurance to any employee with 20 or more hours per week. It'll be the same insurance that the teachers and other staff that have insurance already have. We'd also have a second plan they could take part in as well. The district would not contribute any money to that plan, but it would be offered to anyone who would want that plan. So there's a opportunity there for some people to have insurance through the school that may be at a lower rate than what they're currently paying on their own. Also looked at some of the creations from the Buzz Creative Group in St. Donatus that's working on some marketing materials for our district, stationery, envelopes, postcards, all those kind of good things that way. We'll also talk about the Vision and Mission group that is the Vision and Mission Committee that has met and came up with some sample vision statements. We'll be sharing these also with the district leadership team soon. Some words that came up about our district we're trying to incorporate in. We're engaged, student vision, student-driven, passion, opportunities, innovative, and quality. Looking at tying in some of those other words. One example, we believe engaging real-world learning opportunities will empower students for success in life. It's about 6, 7 different ones here, but that's one. Our vision statement as a whole is going to be Believe in the Blue. We've been trademarking that here, or working on that for the last couple years, and really believe that Believe in the Blue is the way to go about it. That way, people recognize that associated with the Bellevue schools. Let's talk about Common School finance and negotiations that way. The BEA had their initial proposal yesterday after school. Their initial proposal came in at 3.98%. The district will be making their proposal a week from tomorrow, next Wednesday, February 17th. And I'll keep you updated with all of that information that way. Another thing going on here as far as our funding as a whole, we're in fine shape right now. The key to our financial situation is obviously enrollment. That's how we get money from the state that way, but it's also being fiscally responsible with what we're utilizing our funds for in many ways, whether it's staffing, supplies, travel, whatever the case is. So that's another aspect of everything. But we're in good shape right now. There is a dip coming up in the next few years based on enrollment and based on salaries and everything else that way, and staffing. So we will keep an eye on that as well. But we're in good shape right now, and that's a real positive for us as a whole. Did some comment reading and reflection based on the Iowa Association of School Boards and effective school boards. 5 things that they mentioned there are, school boards believe that all students can learn, and there's an ongoing dedication to improvement. We also have that, that we need to be knowledgeable about teaching and learning, and through instruction, assessment, staff development, or what I like to call professional learning. We look at data, use data to see what results are, but recognize there's more to the story of a student than the individual standardized test scores, which I'll get to in just a few minutes actually too. We want a supportive workplace for staff. And we also want to be involved in our communities. Those are some things that way. We did schedule a work session for Monday, February 22nd at 6 p.m. That way to just go over some upcoming expenditures or upcoming thoughts of what we need to be doing. We gave a legislative update. We do not know what money we're going to be getting for next year. It's supposed to be set within the first 30 days of the legislative session. That is actually coming up Thursday. It's February 11th. We start January 11th. We should know then. I'm not putting any money on that one, but we should know the money we're getting at that time. That would be unique if it would get settled by that, but by law, it's supposed to be settled within the first 30 days. We also discussed the aspect of the movie Most Likely to Succeed is going to be shown tonight at the Bellevue Middle School, High School in the multi-purpose gym. I'll have some free popcorn for everybody if they come out to that. I've heard from several people planning on coming out. We're expecting a decent crowd here for that. Also invited the school board to come visit the school at any time. We have a date set up for Tuesday, March 15th right now when we do our instructional rounds as administrative team along with some staff. So it's a great time to visit the school, but at the same time I told them, and I'll tell everyone here, you want to come visit the school, see what's going on in our classrooms, you're always welcome to. Just give us a call, stop in, whatever the case is, let us know, and we'll take you around and show you what's going on and see what learning is taking place. We'll also talk about our TED Talk, which is happening on Wednesday, March 2nd. It's a TEDx talk. It's going to be a great event that way. Kate Bockenstead has been highly involved with that as a senior student here. Matt Yeager is kind of the instructor with that as part of the Bellevue Big. Kate has been involved with the football banquet that was held last weekend, doing all the advertising, marketing, everything for that. She's been the key component here for this one as well. So it's a great situation that way. We have about 7-8 speakers coming that day. We'll show a couple videos as well. And I'll let you know more information when that becomes available that way. So it's coming up soon. Most Likely to Succeed, like I said, is just going to talk about innovative schools and what's going on that way with innovative schools and how we're trying to move in the direction of being an innovative school with high quality learning experiences for our students. A couple other events going on this week. Tonight we got middle school basketball at Easton Valley. We got JV boys basketball at JV varsity boys basketball at Monticello. Thursday night we have middle school boys basketball versus Cascade, and that's at Bellevue. And then we have bowling versus Durant at Bellevue that way. So come out and support any of those teams. All those games start at 4 o'clock. The game tonight starts at 6 o'clock at Monticello. Friday there is no school, along with next Monday there's no school for President's Day, so just so you recognize that. Saturday, Mason Lions, the representative of the Bellevue Comet wrestling team, will be wrestling at Districts at Wilton. I encourage you to go down to Wilton and check him out that way, see how things are going. Some great wrestling matches will happen down there. Mason is looking to make it two straight trips to the state tournament on Saturday. Next week, also on Tuesday, then when we come back, we have varsity sub-state bowling at Timberlanes in Maquoketa, and that's at noon. We also have middle school boys basketball versus Northeast at Bellevue. That's the 8th grade, 7th grade travels to Northeast. And we also have a girls basketball regionals. If they win their first game, which is Saturday, we have forgot to mention that, we have varsity girls basketball versus Clayton Ridge at Bellevue on Saturday night, 7 o'clock, right here at Bellevue School. If we win that, we would play next Tuesday night at Maquoketa Valley Delhi against Maquoketa Valley. But then also on Monday night, even though there's no school, our boys travel to Midland to play Springville. Once again, they play Springville at Midland that way. So hope to see you there as well. So those are just a few things going on. I did want to tell you something here from a book here called Beyond Measure. Interesting book. It's not necessarily a new book, but one I just picked up and was reviewing a little bit recently. We want to make sure kids are learning. We want to make sure they're learning deeply and can truly say, I'm learning and I'm taking things with me that I learn. It's not just memorizing for a test. We also believe that if we emphasize this, instead of emphasizing, a textbook and doing these questions this way and this way and this way, we believe that if students are learning deeply, test scores will take care of themselves, as the book says here. And when we have students involved in things, performing, answering questions, debating, the reason that we love the performance-based assessments is because they require kids to show what they know in different ways. Maybe with a public presentation, maybe having to respond to questions just as they would in defense of a dissertation. They might have to work in groups to solve a problem. So not only can we assess content, but we can assess skills like perseverance, like leadership, like adaptability. Very key things, and that's what we're trying to move to, preparing kids beyond that. When we talked about Iowa Big recently, and Bellevue Big, we talked about our students sitting down with business leaders, not only in Bellevue, but in Dubuque and Cedar Rapids and Quad Cities, talking to them, sitting at the same table as they are. That's where learning takes place, and that can't be shown here at the Bellevue schools. It has to be outside here, going into those environments. It's a non-standardized evaluation in many ways. We also talk about a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. What I mean by a fixed mindset is ultimately that there's a certain level you can't get back past. That's learning from a textbook. A growth mindset is going well beyond that, and that's what we're aiming for. When you have a fixed mindset, as soon as you encounter something difficult, your interest wanes. If the whole point is to look smart and feel smart, and you're not, how much fun can that be? So we find students dropping majors or turning off to something they love before as soon as they hit difficulty or have to struggle. In contrast, students with a growth mindset, always learning basically, tell us they feel smart when they're working hard on something and finally making progress. We want students to feel they're making progress for their own self-concept, for their own self-learning, for their own development as individuals and our future leaders of our nation that way. In a fixed mindset, students believe their abilities are just these fixed traits. You have a certain amount and that's that. Some of us got a lot of math ability and some of us did not. But in a growth mindset, students understand that abilities can be developed. Everyone can improve, can cultivate their abilities through hard work and mentoring. Some of that is from Carol Dweck, but it's from the book Beyond Measure. I encourage you to look at this online. You can get some clips there. If you ever want to borrow any of the books that I talk about here, just give me a call. You can borrow them, take them, whatever the case is. Hope everybody has a great day. The sun's out today. That's a positive. Still no weather delays for the entire school year, which is pretty amazing in all honesty. I know this is a little longer. It's a Comet Highlight one that way, so it takes a little longer with the board notes. Everyone have a great day. I'll talk to you all next week. Remember, no school Friday or Monday.